Hello, grade 11 global politicians. I'm just going to explain what we're doing this week and over the Eid al-Fitr holiday. So first of all, it's really important that some of you are still behind on what we're doing last week, approaches to developing the economy at approximately 3 p.m. On Sunday. Our flip grid is sadly empty. It's really important we do this. If you don't, you are just gonna fall behind. I don't want to really have to start, writing emails to GLMs and stuff about people being behind on work, but it's really important because we're not going to have time to catch up if we're behind at this point. So this week, as I mentioned, we're already looking at approaches for developing society. So that's why it's so important. If you're behind and you didn't do the work last week, that means you've missed approaches to developing the economy, okay? And the next time it comes up could be in an exam. So this week, in fact, it's not this week, this work is for the whole of the Eid al-Fitr holiday. Okay, so you've got plenty of time to do this because it is a lot I'm giving you. First of all, we're going to have a look at a cartoon about development. We're going to define some key concepts: inequality, globalization. We're going to test our knowledge a bit, test our understanding of approaches to developing society, and then we're going to evaluate globalization. So the first things first, easy way to get engagement, have a look at this cartoon about development, okay? And just post a response on the week 9 engagement doc, just stating what do you think the message of this cartoon is, and what are the key issues that are raised by this cartoon. Think about what we've done in terms of human rights, think about what we've done about development, about models of development. What are the key issues that are raised in this picture? Okay, that's the first thing, very easy warm-up activity. Secondly, we're just going to define some key concepts. We're just going to look at inequality and globalization, and I know we know what these means, but these are just the sort of the official, global politics definitions. So when we talk about equality, we're referring to a state of affairs where equality between people or groups of people is not realized, and as a result, this means there is potential compromise of justice and liberty. Okay, so remember when we looked at justice and liberty, when we looked at human rights, and normally when we think of inequality, it's about unequal access to resources. So it doesn't just mean rich and poor, it can be access to clean water. That's the type of inequality, access to clean air. And so obviously when we talk about equality, it's normally in a bigger discussion about power, which groups, which people hold power, and which do not. And inequality can exist within a society and between societies. So you can have inequality between two countries. You can have inequality within a country. So very, very easy. And I think we all know what inequality is. So next we're looking at globalization. Again, I know we know what globalization is. It's just the idea that the world's local, national, regional economies, societies, culture are becoming increasingly integrated and connected. There is a reduction of barriers and borders. It's easier for people, goods, services, ideas to move more freely between different parts of the world. Globalization has been taking place for centuries, I'd say millennia, but without doubt the pace has quickened in recent decades. And this is because it is now cheaper to travel, it is because of the internet, it is because it is easier to communicate. And most people would say that globalization has both benefits and drawbacks, and that its benefits are not always evenly distributed. So, last lesson we looked at approaches to developing the economy, and now we're going to look at approaches to developing society. So have a look through these notes, watch these videos, take your time. It's important you understand this. And there is a sort of a test, a review of this. Okay, so we look at pathways for developing society, and there are 6 pathways. There are 6 ways to do it. There's concern for citizenship, skill and engagement. You can improve education, improving healthcare, changing the role of women. We can live in a more ecological way, and what we call indigenous revitalization movements. So all what I want you to do, the information on 1 to 4 can be found in the Max Kirch textbook pages, PDF pages 136 to 140. And information on 5 and 6 can be found on the YouTube videos that are posted on Google Classroom. You know, and you can make notes if you want, you can make visual notes. I really don't mind, but what's important is that you've understood what it means. Okay, so do whatever works for you. I'm not going to sort of check your notes and go through them with a tooth comb, but it should be fairly clear when you take the Google Forms if you understand. So then when you're ready, take the Google Forms, Inequality, Globalisation, Developing Society. And as I said, take your time with this. If you need to go back over the slides, your notes, videos, that's fine. Our aim here is comprehension. So that's that. Activity 4, and remember that you've got the whole of the Eid al-Fitr break to do this, so don't sort of, you know, don't complain about this. Read pages 10 to 6 of the development chapter from Pearson. Obviously this is attached on Google Classroom. And here's the prompt. Discuss the claim that globalization only benefits developed countries. And you're going to write a 500-word response to that prompt. And you're going to include theoretical foundations, counterclaims, and real-life examples. And I'm going to assess you using the paper 2 rubric. We haven't really looked at paper 2 yet, but if you look at the rubric for paper 2, it's very similar to the part D paper 1 rubric. You know, in order to score highly, you have to be well structured and balanced. You have to understand what the question asks. You have to have a comprehensive knowledge and in-depth understanding of global politics. You have to have examples that are relevant. You have to understand the key concepts of the course and the key theoretical foundations. And you have to be able to justify your points. You have to include counterclaims. And they have to be explored and evaluated. And I think that's something that we're capable of doing. I'm not going to give you a structure outline. I want you to, I want you to have to go at this yourself. But 500 words, managed bag, Word document by Wednesday the 3rd of June. So you've got over 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks to do this. I would use the time during this week's lesson to ask me questions. Because basically we're finishing up development, because then when we come back after Eid al-Fitr, you're going to be doing something different that is going to require a lot of time. It's quite challenging. So it's better we get this done now. So that is our task for the week. As ever, I will be on Google Hangouts to answer any questions. Okay, so thanks and good luck.